Hello students, today we will be learning about Taenia solium. Taenia solium is an endoparasite and we have learned about various adaptations of endoparasite. So talking about Taenia solium, it is commonly called as porkworm. It is long, digenetic intestinal parasite of man, belonging to phylum Platyhelminthes and class Cestoda. Taenia solium, they have a flat body which is ribbon like in structure. They have no mouth and no digestive system is present in these animals. Since they are endoparasite, they will directly absorb the nutrients from the host animal. Suckers and teeth are present to grab the host properly so that they can hold to the host body very firmly. These animals are hermaphrodites, which means they have both testes and ovary present inside their body. Their body is divided into three parts: scolex, neck, and stobula. So let's see the first part, scolex. Scolex is a global 1 millimeter in size with four suckers and one rostulum. And these rostulum bear 25 to 50 hooklets or hook-like structures arranged around the crown region of rostulum. If you observe the rostulum from the topmost portion, that is from the anterior view of this tapeworm mouth, if rostulum, if you see, you will see this is the rostulum. These are the hooks which are present, and these are the four circles lying on the lateral side of the head portion, okay, or the scolex portion. If you see these hooks look like this. This is the base of the hook, this is the handle, and this is the blade portion through which they can grab the host animal properly. Moving to the next one, that is the neck. It is nearest to the body of the animal and budding zone continuing germinative tissues. So in this picture, you can see, yeah, in this picture you can see this is the neck portion which is being shown up here, and down the neck portion, the strobila formation takes place. Now, what is strobila? Strobila are of two types. If you see the small segments, these are not real segments, okay? These are false segments. They are small. When it grows, it turns into a capsule or and gets separated from the body. And each of the strobila, each of the segment will contain both the reproductive system present in it. So once it is matured, the gravid proglottids will separate from it and move on. So the mature proglottids, when we talk about, the width is equal to the length size of the uh, strobila, whereas in case of gravid proglottids, it is bigger in size. The width is bigger than the length of this strobila. In this picture, you can very easily see the strobila. Each strobila is present over here. Immature proglottids are transverse rectangle located in the anterior part of the body, and inner organs are developing. Mature proglottids are square in shape, located in the mid part of the body, and have 150 to 200 testes, and a centrally straight uterus are present with three lobes of ovary. The pregnant, or you can say the gravid proglottids, are longitudinally rectangular, located in the posterior most section of the body of tapeworm. It contains a branched uterus filled with eggs. The number of main branch on each side of the uterus stem is 7 to 13. In this picture, besides over here, you can see these are the ovary with the fertilized egg capsules are present over here. Okay, you can see that this is the uterus. Here are the ovaries present. These two are the ovaries. Now talking about the life cycle of Taenia solium or tapeworm, the life cycle comprises of two hosts. Who are these two hosts? The human is a definitive or primary host, and the pig is an intermediate, or what we call it as a secondary host in case of tapeworm. Talking about life cycle in humans, the infective stage of tapeworm is called as cysticerus larva. These cysticerous larvae enter into the body of human. When uncooked or undercooked, pork, pork is a type of meat which has been gained from pig. The meat of pig is called as pork, containing infective bladder worm cysticerous larvae, stage in engulfed by the men. So whenever a human being is going to consume pork which is infected with bladder worm, this cysticerous larva will enter into the digestive system of the human. Upon reaching the gastric cavity, the outer cuticle and the part of the bladder is hydrolyzed by the gastric juices of our stomach. In intestine, the scolex starts evaginating after it comes in contact with bile pigments. So cysticerus, now it will come out of the capsule and it will start evaginating outside. Okay, and basically this stage is called as bladder worm stage. The bladder worm now gets attached to the gut wall with the help of suckers and hooks present in it. The cyst wall is completely dissolved and the young tapeworm is developed. The neck elongates to form proglottids. The worm obtains its nourishment ready-made from the intestine of the host animal. Gradually, it forms a proper body, that is, now it is going to get mature. And the proper body is called as strobila. We have seen how strobila looks like. So even in this picture, you can see the last portion. Okay, this is the mouth portion, and or you can say, sorry, this portion is the scolex, and this portion is the gravid proglottids, and these are the initial glottids which are present, proglottids which are present. So they attain mature sexuality within 10 to 12 weeks of invasion in the host animal. So these are all the strobillas. Egg capsule are stored in the uterus and egg is well covered with shell. It is secreted by the vitelline glands present in the strobila. In beginning, the zygote undergoes unequal cleavage to form oncosphere. It is also covered by two embryonic membrane and shell. The mature and gravid proglottids containing thousands of such oncosphere detaches from the body of tapeworm to change the host animal. Now it will is removed out from the body by means of feces, and it will try and search for a new host or an intermediate host. An average lifespan of tapeworm is said to be 25 years. This is a life cycle which takes place inside the body of men or in the intestine of men. So, starting from the first stage, that is cysticerous larva, from that it gets into the bladder worm. Sometimes, even directly, the bladder worm can also get introduced into the body from the pork. Then it starts maturing enough, and these adult tapeworms, their uterus will start getting filled with the embryos. These are the gravid proglottids which lie in the posterior most part of the tapeworm. These proglottids release egg in form of oncosphere. So this is oncosphere and this is the eggshell which move out of the body of the host, primary host, by the help of feces. Now talking about the life cycle part of tapeworm in the pig. The hexacanth embryo, which you can see in this picture, which is having hooks, these are six in number, and that is why we name it as hexacanth embryo, is an infective stage of tapeworm. It enters the host when pig feeds upon gravid proglottids. Gastric juices in the stomach dissolves the embryonic membrane so as to release the six hook embryo called hexacanth embryo. यानी कि oncosphere से now they will the shell जो shell wall था उसके आसपास oncosphere के it will not dissolve and these six hooks will come outside from the egg, or you can say the embryo, that is the hexacanth embryo. Subsequently, these embryos will penetrate the intestinal wall and invade the portal vessel or the lymphatic vessels of the intestine of pig. It successfully reaches systematic circulation and gets filtered out from the blood into the striated muscles. यानी कि जैसे ही वो उसके ब्लड वेसल में इंटर करेंगे या फिर लिम्फ नोड या लिम्फ वेसल में इंटर करेंगे, आफ्टर दे स्टार्ट ग्रोइंग इनटू उसके आसपास के जो भी मसल्स है उस मसल्स में भी वो पेनिट्रेट करना स्टार्ट करते हैं. मसल्स सच एज टंग, neck, shoulder, and limbs. The cardiac muscle may be also involved in case of penetration by these tapeworm larvae. The hexacanth embryo loses its hook and the cell in the center gets liquefied into striated muscles in about the span of 8 days of infection into the pigs. So what we understand here is once it is reaching its location in 8 days span, these hexagons when they go and attach to the main areas, they will lose जो hooks होते हैं वो hooks निकल जाएंगे, they will disappear by the span of 8 days. Now, those eggs or those embryos will become enlarged and develop a fluid filled cavity with resistant cyst wall in it. Because अभी उसे वहां पे सर्वाइव करना है तो क्या करेगा, वो एक रेजिस्टेंट वॉल डेवलप करेगा एम्ब्रियो के अराउंड. It forms early bladder worm stage. You can see in this picture. The cyst wall evaginates from the region bearing hooks. Now this is the region you can see here. There your small scolex is starting getting formed and यहाँ से वो इन्वेजिनेट करना शुरू करेगा यानी कि एम्ब्रियो से बाहर आना शुरू करेगा. At the base of the hook, rostulum and suckers, an immature head called proscolex is developed. Now, here in this picture also you can see here, these are the suckers and here are the hooks which are being developed. Here is an opening which is arising from which these tapeworms or these small proscolex, this part is called as proscolex, is developed. Now this stage is called as infective bladder worm stage, or even we call it as a cysticerous larva. Their period of development is about 2 months, and this can be found in the body of the pig animal. It can be in the muscles of different areas and different locations. Now talking about the intestine of pig, what is the life cycle that is taking place? Just revising it back. Once the oncosphere or the embryo enters into the body of the pig, because it feeds on in a very spoiled area jahan bahut sara we say it is not clean where the pigs are basically grown, so they consume anything, they consume waste products, they consume degraded vegetation, so it can happen that these oncospheres get in contact with those pig and enter into the body. After entering, they will the wall, this egg wall will denature and the hooks will emerge out. This is called as hexacanth embryo. Later, after 8 days span, when it reaches the muscles of the body of lymphatic and the portal areas, with help of lymphatic and portal areas, two muscles, striated muscles of tongue, liver, various organs, okay, they lose the hook, these hooks, and they become a encysted embryo. Inside this encysted embryo there is a bladder which is forming, okay, the bladder worm shows invagination, this is invagination, and later on the invagination get inverted and it will rise from this opening area. So in this next picture you can see bladder worm with evaginated scolex, that is ulta scolex hai ye, opposite side pe hai, so it is evaginated scolex. In this you can see the rostular hooks are present here, the hooks can be seen, the open, there is a small hole opening from which now these worms, the bladder worms, are going to emerge out. Now talking about pathogenicity caused by these tapeworms in human beings. So when they enter into your gastric system, okay, as we have told, from gastric the cyst is been broken, okay, of cysticerous larva का cyst break होता है, and जैसे ही वो intestine में आता है हमारे bile pigments उसे accelerate करते हैं, due to which the bladder will come out and they will start sticking to the body. So in this picture you can see in the second part the bladder worms will come and attach to the mucus part of your intestine. From intestine then they enter the larva, the larva will enter into the muscle cells of the small intestine, penetrating into various other organs also. So the pathogenicity, talking about it, the pathological condition caused by tapeworm is called as Taeniasis. The ill effects caused to human due to tapeworm infection are called as taniasis and cysticercosis. Talking about taniasis, it is caused due to presence of adult worm in the intestine. So once we have seen, जैसे कि the bladder worm will come, it will attach to the host, it will start taking the nourishment directly from the host. Okay, it will suck the nourishment from the host, and it will grow, it will become an adult, and जैसे जैसे वो adult होगा, it will start consuming the mucous membranes, it will click to the mucus of the intestine, and it will start eating it up with the help of the hook and suckers. It will cling to the small intestine and start eating it up. Now it obliterates the intestinal functioning. How does it creates a problem in the intestinal functioning? Is by causing chronic indigestion, diarrhea, weight loss, anemia, and even abdominal discomfort is seen in the patients suffering from taniasis. The next pathogenicity disease that is caused by it is called as cysticercosis. What is cysticercosis? The bladder worm stage develops in various body parts associated with striated muscles. Okay, wherever the striated muscles is, the bladder worm will go and start getting into it. जैसे कि it is not necessary कि हर बार adult worm जब egg lay करता है, that egg will be discharged out from the body. But sometimes the eggs would stay inside the body of the primary host, and it will start invading the muscle areas of intestine, penetrating and trying to come outside. As well as sometimes it enters into the blood system, and from blood system it can go to various other organs. It invades eyes, heart and brain, forming nodules. जैसे आपने लास्ट पिक्चर में देखा रहेगा, here you can see small nodules are formed. So nodules insert vital organs. The cysticercosis in brain. In this picture you can see the brain. There are some small cysts or nodules formed. This is then X-ray scanning done for the brain. It leads to epileptic convulsion, यानी कि अचानक से अटैक्स आते हैं, स्ट्रोक्स आते हैं, द बॉडी is not gets contracted, it is not able to understand or not able to move properly. Severe headache, and even it can lead to vomiting in case of cysticercosis. What are the control measures? Now we know what the disease is and what are the pathogenicity caused by these tapeworms, but now we also need to know the control measures. Talking about that, the first thing is the pork should be properly cooked before consumption. That is, you should always see to it that the pork which you are cooking is cooked very well, so that there is no chance of these bladder worms or the cysticercosis larvae entering into the human body system. There should be closed laboratories built in the area, because this is a kind of epidemic disease. एक से दूसरे को, दूसरे से तीसरे को ये इजीली फैल सकता है. कौन सी कंडीशन में फैल सकता है? जब आपका जो सिस्टम है, लेबोरेटरी है, ये ओपन है, यानी लोग ओपन में फील्ड में जाते हैं या रोड में जाते हैं. Okay, so from that it can spread very easily. So for to control the spread, we need such closed laboratories or closed toilet system. The slaughterhouse should be checked time to time. जहाँ पे ये pigs slaughter होते हैं, ये should be clean enough so that there is no chance of infection from the animal which is being slaughtered. A strict awareness of parasitic disease is necessary. People should be made aware about such disease, and the clinical personal cleanliness that is to be followed by these people. Okay, this can be done by means of education system, by newspaper, by news channels. Okay, so people will know about these disease, and that they should maintain personal hygiene while consuming these food products. Okay, as well as while purchasing these food products. Now, once the disease is caused, we need to know the treatment for these disease. So basically, there are two types of drugs used to treat taniasis. The first one is called as vermifuge. It removes the worm from intestine without killing it. Example, mepacrine hydrochloride. And the second one is vermicide. These drugs will kill the worm. Both the drugs should be prescribed by the family physician, yani ki you cannot consume it directly, you need to go and visit a doctor, and the doctor basically will select according to the condition present in that human, whether to give a vermifuge medicine or whether to give a vermicide medicine. Okay, and all these medication is based given by doctors based on the body weight, the sensitivity, the person is sensitive to which kind of chemical, what are the conditions actually inside the body of the human. Accordingly the medicines are prescribed, such as albendazole and hetrazine. That's all for today. Enjoy learning. Bye.